This is the final journey on a series of events we've had called Source to Sea, and the idea of Source to Sea is to celebrate the work of volunteers working on Sydney's rivers. So we catch a boat or we kayak down the river, stopping at sites along the way to hear the stories of those volunteers.
We have a fleet of boats that we take people paddling up to weed sites, treating weeds with a local land care group.
Make sure you slip, slop, slap and have a wonderful day.
I think we should have the river for swimming because a long time ago lots of people could swim in it, they could have fun, but now there's a whole lot of pollution and I want to get rid of that.
To make Parramatta River swimmable again, we need beautiful, intact bushland on its shores because that bushland creates a filter for the water.
I would like to swim and fish.
I would like fishing and swimming as well.
Excitement's about to start.
The river itself has a long geological history. What you see now is only the last 6,500 years. And that's the time in which Aboriginal people have been moving up and down and living along this waterway. And in the last 200 odd years, it's changed enormously. There were none of those high rises over there, for example. Of course, you know about the road's development, all the very expensive apartment blocks sitting on top of one of Sydney's most contaminated landfill sites. Most of that contamination, so far as the land side of it is concerned, was cleaned up, but more importantly, what's underneath our keel. Back up on the Rhodes Peninsula, there was industrial development there at the turn of the 20th century, and then it just got worse and worse as the chemical industries came in. But the pollution continues today, and one of the biggest components of that is actually zinc, which comes from car tyres.
It took a long time. By 2013 the area had been cleared, mulched and just planted out. And just this year you can see now the native plantings are really well established, providing fantastic habitat.
I'm with a group with Annie here in Pisa Bush Care.
That used to be masses and masses of privet, and to go down there now and see all the maidenhair fern growing along the track is just such a pleasure.
Without these bushcare volunteers, our bushland parks would be in a dreadful state.
So we had a pretty quick trip down because we were running a bit late. We stopped and had a look at the Ermington Bay area where one of the guys here, Graham, has done a lot of work with his bush care groups.
We've got a couple of endangered ecological communities. What we're trying to do is link those patches of bushland to create the corridors.
I'm very concerned about maintaining these green connections along the river. It's going to promote biodiversity, and I think biodiversity is an essential ingredient for human well-being.
We're heading around the corner to Quarantine Reserve.
I've been working on the bottom end of the Duck River for about 8 years. The site that we had was very degraded industrial lands, and now we've got things like red-bellied black snakes and bush turkeys, also other forest birds coming in, and a couple of frog species, so it all makes it really worthwhile.
This quarantine reserve over there, we're trying to bring it back to what it originally looked like, get rid of all the exotic grasses and all the weeds that don't belong there.
The North Sydney Council Bush Care program has been around for 22 years. This is Berry Island. It's in very good condition because it's not influenced by urbanisation. It's mostly Angophora foreshore forest, the Sydney red gums that we're looking at here.
I just love seeing the bush thriving, and I think it's great that Sydney's got so much bushland amongst residential areas.
The more volunteers we have, the quicker we'll get rid of all of the pollution and we'll be able to swim in here again.
I agree with my sister that we need more volunteers and we'll be able to swim here in no time.
When you're in bush care for a while, you get caught up in your own site, and so being able to connect with others and piece together what's happening for the whole river is really exciting. So it's been a nice day of reflection and good chats with people.
We've just finished an amazing last day of Source to Sea, celebrating the work of volunteers, bush care volunteers and land care volunteers. Today has been a way of saying thank you and of celebrating that work.